It's great to hear how people what they want to say about themselves in this context. So when we have the discussion later, I hope you know a bit more about each other. And we're going to start with Bissy. As I say, we'll now move to the programme, which is Bissy speaking about why Festabit, why this festival.
Thank you very much, Chrissy. First, I'd like to use this opportunity to say a big thank you to Project for once again giving us the opportunity to be here today. Very, very important. And I think it's perfect that we're here because here was the place where we were born, Arambe Island, under the directorship of Mr. White. Why Festabit? We formed Arambe in 2003. Willie White and Valerio Gantner asked me to put a show together for the Dublin Fringe Festival of 2003. I suggested the gods are not to blame, and the rest, as I say, is history. And here we are almost, how many years ago? Since 2003. A lot of things have happened in the interim. We have done shows everywhere, in the fringe, and as far as I'm concerned, up to the mainstream, that is at the Abbey Theatre, where we did the Playboy of the Western World. But the controversy that surrounded that made it happen that we're back in the fringe. And I'm talking particularly about Dr. Jason King's piece. He would argue that since the economic recession that hit us in 2008, coupled with the controversy that surrounded the Playboy at the Abbey, the African theatre and Black Irish theatre has been relegated to the fringe again. So I thought, well, Arambe was created to give Africans the opportunity to learn how to perform. Maybe the time has come to give them the opportunity how to create work that they could get performers to perform. So the whole idea of Festabit is to interrogate what is the state of African theatre right now? How did it begin? And what kind of future has it got? So we're looking at the history, the current state, and the sustainability of African theatre in Ireland. I believe a good theatre must reflect the society that creates it. If our society is diverse, it behoves on the theatre to be diverse. So that is what this is about. We want, over the 3-day, we want to talk about what is the state of the theatre here, how can we sustain it, and at the end, I would like to argue that with Terry McMahon giving a workshop and Mr. Gavin Costi giving a workshop, we must create one playwright out of this workshop. So next year, we're going to see a play written by an African person or somebody who is of Black Irish heritage. That is the promise we've made to the Arts Council, and I can assure you that we're going to keep it. I thank you very much. So what I would like to do is, there was a show, Project Art Center turned 50 this year, and what they asked me to do was to see what I can contribute to the celebration. And they actually got me a camera person, a video person, and I put a show together and I called it Arambe at Project. And this is, I think that it would be good to show that, to put this conference into, to put this festival into context. Thank you very much. So when you're ready. African voices. African voices in Ireland. The very first of its kind, I might add. I remember that day very well. 16th March 2003. It feels like only yesterday. It was Willie White, the then director of Project, and Dominic Campbell, then of St. Patrick's Festival, who had asked me to put a show together to celebrate African oral tradition in Ireland. According to Willie and Dominic, African music, dance, and costumes were regularly showcased in Ireland, but the African voice seemed to be silent. With that, the idea for the African voices was sown. Featuring performers from various parts of Africa, African Voices was a once-off performance to celebrate here in Ireland the richness of African orature through songs, moonlight stories, poetry recitation, proverbs, and many more. It was indeed a night to behold, a cacophony of African voices coordinated by an African for a mainstream Irish theatre. Following the success of African Voices, Willie, once again, asked me to present a play at Project for the Dublin Film Festival in September 2003. I opted for The Gods Are Not to Blame, a Nigerian adaptation of Oedipus the King, which I co-directed with Jimmy Faye. It was the morning the project was going to press that Willie called and asked me what the name of my company was. Arambe was the first thing that came to my mind, coined from the Yoruba saying, Arambe Timofeda Kaye Mapa Kanamida, meaning there are wonders that I will perform if my destiny is not altered. That very moment, Arambe, Ireland's first African theatre company, was born, aimed at shedding light on Africa and Africans living in Ireland. And since that humble beginning, Arambe has indeed performed many wonders, at Project no less. First, it was our African griot in 2004 to explore the similarities and differences between African total theatre and European theatre traditions. The 3-day seminar comprised speeches, a play reading, lectures, intercultural dialogue, and a workshop which culminated on the final day in a total theatre when music, song, and dance were incorporated into the final performance of extracts from B. Banile's adaptation of Things Fall Apart. Arambe was back at Project in 2005 with a performance showcase of Not So Long Ago. A sequel to Once Upon a Time, Not So Long Ago was a dramatization of contemporary real-life experiences of Africans living in Ireland. Then, in 2007, Arambe returned with our production of The Dilemma of a Ghost to celebrate Ghana's 50th independence anniversary. Arambe's next production at Project was Through a Film Darkly in 2008. The peculiar thing about this project was that it began with a full reading of the play, followed by an animated discussion, before culminating in a full-blown production. Come September, Arambe will be 14 years. And I cannot but help ask, will there have ever been an Arambe without Project? So, on that note, on behalf of Arambe and all my African brothers and sisters who have had the privilege to tread the boards or see Arambe Project, I say a big thank you to Project for birthing and nurturing Arambe. Happy golden anniversary, and God bless. So, I think yes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Can you give us some outlights now? Thanks.
You were going to say you said so. So we ended with happy birthday. So Jane got her beginnings of her happy birthday.
I was the same birthday, so you wonder. A different year, 13th of May.
So, and also we'll be mentioning later that in fact a book that Jane has co-edited of six playwrights, African playwrights, is being launched today. It's being published today.
It's just such an auspicious day.
So it is, and so we have to come up with a mini launch here. So another reason for our celebration later. And so let's just move on Willie actually has
That's
to
what I was
go.
going to do. I've got to go for a meeting at 12, yeah.
Yeah, so when Willie leaves, it's not because the day isn't interesting, but we knew from the
Had
start
a
he
falling out
has.
or something.
So I'm just going to invite Willie to say something. He's already told you he is the director of the Dublin Theatre Festival at present, but was the director here. And it's really informative to see that short video there and realise the close connection, not just between Arambe and the project, but Arambe and yourself. You crop up in so many of those images. So over to you.
Okay, thank you. It's actually, I have warm memories, even though I'd forgotten until I was reminded of all those things, because I had better hairstyles and tucked in my shirt. As I said earlier on, I mean, I'm probably aware of BC Outgun when I was knocking around City Arts Centre that got now gone and missed City Arts Centre in the mid-90s, but myself and BC worked together alongside each other when he was on a programme called Mono, which is one of RT's first responses to the fact that Ireland was changing. And I suppose, in fact, actually, if we go back before then and talk about myself, I grew up in rural Ireland. Everybody looked the same. I came to university in Dublin in 1988. Pretty much still people look the same, started to encounter a little bit more diversity and difference. Probably the first we encountered was maybe around people's sexuality, but just in terms of ethnic and national diversity, I guess Ireland really started to change in the late 90s. By the time I arrived in project in 2002, Ireland was changing, and it was a topic. Mostly it was about migration from sub-Saharan Africa, not so much about EU enlargement. But I mean, I suppose what was interesting about the fact that Ireland was changing was that it was a challenge to our conventional cultural narrative. Substantially, our narrative was about our relationship with Britain. It was very binary, and the most kind of compelling kind of tropes of Irish theatre certainly were to do with language and identity and politics, but very much about not being something and having one option to be British or to be Irish. Okay, yeah, some people might have had some in between. What was clear to me in project, by the time I arrived in project, was that these options were inadequate to contemporary Ireland because people were other things other than these two tick boxes. So if I remember correctly, how African Voices in Ireland in March 2003 came about was that Dominic Campbell, whom I knew, was the artistic director of the St. Patrick's Festival, and he invited me. I can't